Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today we are going to jump into the time machine and travel back 24 years to the year 2000 as we take a look at this from the film Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. We are looking at the Gyro Captain. Okay, so this was released by N2 Toys, which I think is now defunct. If you're an old school collector, you might remember N2 Toys. They also made a line of, I think, of Matrix action figures, which was prior to McFarlane having the license. Way back in the day, I actually did have some of these figures. I had the Max and I had the Wes figure. Unfortunately, I sold them years ago. And maybe 2 weeks ago, one of my local theaters, they had a screening of The Road Warrior. And for me, that kind of got the ball rolling. After the movie, I was like, man, I really need some Road Warrior figures. And then I kind of remembered that I used to have some back in the day, and then I was kind of heartbroken that I sold them. So I told myself, you know, let's get a couple of them as long as I could find them for a reasonable price. So I went onto eBay and I found the set of Mad Max and the Gyro Captain. It was reasonably priced, mostly because the figures and the packaging were kind of sun damaged. Like the bubble here is completely yellowed, and I'm guessing his flesh tone might be discolored as well. Great looking action figure. The likeness to actor Bruce Spence is not there. This looks more like a caricature of the character we see in the film. The box design's all right. You know, you have a nice image of Mad Max, Mel Gibson, you know, walking down the highways of the outback in the Australian post-apocalyptic world. The Gyro Captain comes with his long telescope, which you might remember from the movie, his crossbow, and his snake. Other figures in the line include Humongous, the Warrior Woman. There's a variation on Mad Max when he's kind of beat up, and he comes with the Feral Kid, and then we also have Wes. All right, so let's take this guy out. This is 24 years old. So all right, so thankfully the figure is not sun damaged. I'll show you my Max figure in a little bit, but his flesh tone still seems to be intact. My Mad Max figure is really discolored. His flesh color is kind of like a weird like yellow now. Alright, first we have the Gyro Captain snake. Unfortunately, this is a stiffer plastic. This isn't really flexible. If you've seen the movie, you know what purpose the snake serves. This here is his crossbow. I was kind of worried about taking it out. I was kind of afraid that this would snap, and feels kind of fragile, especially for it being as old as it is, so I don't want to get too crazy with it. There's a decent amount of weathering on here to kind of give it the impression of it kind of being like a worn wood finish. You know, it looks like something that's been sitting out in the desert. You know, it's kind of like sandy and dusty looking. It's not the greatest sculpt, but, you know, you get the point. Here's his telescope. It's nice how it's kind of detailed with the sand and the weathering also. Unfortunately, the actual lens is nowhere to be seen. You know, it'd be nice if they at least painted like maybe like a white circle to give you the impression of a lens, but it's just bare. And here we have the Gyro Captain. As portrayed by actor Bruce Spence. You might remember Bruce Spence as, I think, the mouth of Sauron in Return of the King. And he also played, I think, what's an alien's name? Tion Medon, I think his name, from Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. He was that dude on the sinkhole planet of Utapau who was talking to, like, Obi-Wan. But here he is as the Gyro Captain. And like I said, the likeness to Bruce Spence isn't really there, but You know, beggars can't be choosers. At least we have a Gyro Captain figure. The articulation is extremely limited. His head does turn, which is better. The Mad Max head doesn't turn at all. His arms move. You're looking at, I think, only 5 points of articulation. And then his legs move. So, you know, this is kind of, if you're a younger collector, this kind of gives you an idea of some of the action figures we got back in the day. It's not to say they're bad. You know, I think the presentation's excellent. Like, this thing is really dusty and weathered. He looks like he's been hanging out in the desert. It's presented really well. Does his crossbow fit in his hand? I don't want to force it in because I don't want to accidentally break any of these fingers if it's a fragile plastic. How about a snake? Will a snake at least fit? Yeah, he has his snake. It would have been cool if this was a box set and if he came with his little gyrocopter. And here's his telescope. So it's cool. And here he is next to my Mad Max figure. As you can see, the Mad Max, it's really sun damaged. You know, his flesh tone doesn't have that pink warm hue like this guy does here. He's kind of like become really yellowed out. But I'm so stoked to have both of these figures. You know, they're kind of like a tag team in the movie. Much reluctant tag team, you know. Max really wants to work on his own, but, you know, the Gyro Captain kind of sees them as a team. And it's a great movie. If you've never seen The Road Warrior, I highly suggest you check out all the films, especially with the new Furiosa movie due out later this year. But yeah, very stoked. You know, it's kind of cool to have some Mad Max Road Warrior figures. These can be kind of pricey on the secondary market. You could find them a lot cheaper if they're used, but chances are they'll be missing the accessories. But they're still fun figures to have nonetheless. I think, these are awesome. You know, this really takes me back. Size comparison, here he is next to a Marvel Legends X-Men Darwin figure. You know, so this is kind of within that 6-inch scale. Alright, so let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.